So today we are here to give certain updates and make certain clarifications for the interests of Sierra Leoneans. The Electoral Commission for Sierra Leone has conducted a series of elections. I think the last election was the 6th, since the introduction of multi-party. And we are guided by, as a commission, by the Constitution, by elections acts, several elections acts, by standards established over the years, either national or international. So today we're here to interact. The approach of this interaction, we have prepared a statement on key areas, but we will also be responding to questions after the statements. You are free to ask questions in Creole. If you care, you can also answer questions in English, because this audience or this information we are sending out is not only for people who speak English, but for our people in Sierra Leone, many of whom cannot speak or understand English, and they would prefer language that we can all communicate in. So you can speak Creole to ask questions, and we can also respond to questions in Creole. So now let me go to the press statements before we come to questions. Feel free. It is your day. It is our birthday. So we are celebrating the birthday with the media. In other words, it is the anniversary of June 24th. So we are celebrating this birthday or anniversary with the media today. And I hope Director of Communication, he provided the necessary logistics or refreshment for our media friends. Very important. So let me go to the press statement. A total of 2,789,808 registered voter turnouts in the June 24th, 2023 elections, exactly 1 year ago, with 52.88% being female and 47.12% being male. The 2023 elections recorded one of the lowest invalid votes, consistent with the recent trend in reduction of invalid votes. 2007 recorded 7.30%. 2012 had 4.70%. 2018 first round 5.20%. 2018 runoff had 1.24%. And 2023 will reduce it to 0.39%. This is due to the robust electoral education strategy put in place as part of the 2018 Election Observation Mission recommendations. And this trend has been continuing even in primary chieftaincy elections, as shown in the table below. For instance, Falaba, the Kwenadugu, Yeria, Chiefdom, the voter invalid votes recorded is 0.5. And what is interesting, for this election, you had 23 candidates contested for this PC election. In Gawa Chiefdom, Konneh, you had 0.3%, where you had 7 candidates. And in Bond District, Banga Kemo, Chiefdom, you have 0.8%, where you had 6 candidates. In other words, those who are questioning whether the data, the invalid votes for the 2023 presidential election is genuine, was not manipulated. We have seen the trend of downwards movement of invalid votes from 2007 onto 2023. So instead of celebrating that as an achievement, we have people who are questioning that. And the other interesting thing we need to also understand, you look at the 2018 elections, where you had series of political parties in the first round, where we recorded 5.2%. But then when it came to the runoff, you only have 2 political parties. And these 2 political parties, the symbols of APC and SLPP, is well known to everybody. So when you go to the station, many of the voters, they are only looking for the symbol. They are not even looking at the faces, who is on that ballot paper. So it is easier for people to vote correctly for the parties they want to vote for. And then when we use the proportional representation again, it makes it easier for people to easily vote for the candidates of their choice. So it's good to note that. Another information is that on Tuesday, 11 June 2024, the Commission presented the annual Amortitia Election Report 2023 to His Excellency, the President, Dr. Julius Maada Bio, in line with Section 32(12) of the Constitution. This report is a tandem in the legal provision which demand a commission to submit every year annual reports. But because we had elections in 2023, and therefore the annual reports, we decided for the first time to prepare election reports, which the annual reports submitted to the President, and that report we are going to share with the public once it is laid in Parliament. We have forwarded the report to Parliament. So we share the details of the reports. It is good for research purposes, that it is also good to understand how we went about the election. It's not only on the election day, but all activities we undertook up leading to the 2023 election. We are not only going to distribute the report, we are also going to engage with stakeholders. That's what we have started today. Engaging the stakeholders, engaging the public to tell our own story. Over the past 12 months, even before the elections, there have been so many perceptions filled the air that has created doubts about the integrity of this institution. So we've decided to go back to the public to tell our own story, so people have the option of either believing us based on the facts we present, or say they still trust what has been prepared against the Commission. The report also provides gender analysis of nominated candidates, voter turnout, as well as elected representatives. The report highlights status of the implementation of the 2022 to 2024 strategic plan, providing indications of how far has the Commission progressed in implementing its programs and activities. I'm sure every electoral cycle we have submitted strategic plans. We have also reviewed recommendations. And this time around, we have decided to give accounts how we are able to implement the strategic plan. Therefore, for the strategic plan, which has over 100 and something activities, the Commission, at dates, we have implemented 64.67% of the activities of the strategic plan. We have 14.97% of activities that are partially implemented. we have 15.57% of activities in progress, and we have 4.79% of activities are yet to be achieved. These details are also in our election report. In other words, if you are grading the commission based on the implementation of the activities, we are within B plus and A plus, because we already have 64.67% and we have 14.97% partially completed. So by the end of the year, by the end of the electoral cycle strategic plan, which is this year, we are confident that we'll be able to implement up to 80% of the activities outlined in the strategic plan. And some of the evidence you can see from you have been to this building before 2020. You can see the progress, you can see the improvement. Even else, you can also see the difference. You can even ask staff within the commission in terms of the welfare, in terms of the systems we have put in place. So in other words, these are activities or achievements which are not apparent and which people are not interested in. But
this is a different kind of energy
we have gone through. I think it is also crucial for the Commission to talk about our participation towards the cross-party committee on electoral system and management bodies review, known as the tripartite. When the pronouncement was made in Parliament by a president that he was going to set up a committee to look into the electoral system, as a commission, when we came back, we were a little bit concerned. But when we analyze the situation, when we look back and reflect on what has been happening over the past 6 elections, the President was right to set up a committee to look into the electoral system, because as he mentioned when we submitted our reports, he has been a victim and he has been beneficiaries of the system. In other words, he took the Electoral Commission to court in 2012. When we conducted the election 2023, APC had questions about the system. So it was good that he set up this committee. And therefore, as a commission, we decided that we have to fully cooperate with the tripartite or the committee set up, the tripartite committee. The launch of the tripartite interparty dialogue meeting, we were invited, we went there, we represented the commission, one of the commissioners went. As their work progressed, they sent us requests for certain information. Out of the information they requested, we provided about 70%. There are certain information we did not provide because we classified this information, and it has nothing to do with the relevance or the TOR of the committee. I will clearly justify why. Subsequent to the provision of the information, we are also invited. Remember, the committee is not only looking at the 2023 election, but rather all elections conducted from 2007. I was invited, and I'm aware other commissioners were invited, but only the chair of Konneh, who conducted Konneh, who conducted the 2018 election, went. Madam Top did not attend the meeting, but we went because we were confident in what we did, and they had questions, over 50 questions, which they had prepared without our knowledge. We went there for easier of the administration of these questions. They shared the questions with us as they asked the questions. So we're there, answer to all of these questions, And the questions were not asked by individual, by a single person, but rather all the representatives, both SLPP and APC representatives on the panel. They all asked questions, a pre-prepared questions, and we answer all the questions. At the end of the day, I think you saw the photographs after the interview. It was very friendly, and some of them even to a point asked my staff, hey guys, una clap for una chair. Then we came back. After a few days or about a week, that was when we received another letter. Let me clarify this. Before we went for the interview, when we received the first correspondence from the tripartite committee, it was signed by all the committee co-chairs. But subsequently, when we were invited, the letter was signed by the expatriate secretary. So as a commission, we said, no, we have set the standard. If any correspondence is coming from the tripartite committee, it has to be signed by the co-chair. So the letter went back, we responded in writing, and then the letter was subsequently, the invitation letter was subsequently signed by the co-chairs. So on that basis, we went. So when we came back, we received a letter only signed by representatives of the APC and the committee, requesting us to provide clarification on several issues we have addressed, either in the document we provided or when we appear in person. So our response was just two paragraphs. A, that the letter was not properly signed by the co-chairs, and B, we have provided the clarifications they were seeking from us, either in the document we submitted or when we appear doing the interview for 5 hours we were there. So that was the letter. If you have seen people referring to us that we are bluffing, we cannot escape justice, we cannot escape. We just wanted people to understand that we have always expressed our commitment to ensure that we support whatever genuine intention we have to improve on the electoral system in Sierra Leone. That's why, even in my statement to President, I stated clearly that as a commission, this is not the first time we are reviewing the system. Every elections, we review electoral system and then bring aboard issues that were concerned for the outcome of that election. So we are not against any review. So we welcome whatever recommendations that will come out of the tripartite committee. In fact, I was saying this morning, maybe we have to borrow from the English League or the FIFA to introduce VAR in electoral system. We all remember, before 2-3 years ago, or when Ferguson was the chair of ahead of Manchester. That's not there. Liverpool there, and Liverpool man they talk. We easiest target is always that. So they have introduced system that will assist referees. So if at the end of the day the electoral recommendation is for this commission, when they are doing elections, to transmit the results from the field to the center, to project, to publish disaggregated data, let's have the law. We don't have the law. In fact, when we attempted, before the elections, when we attempted to introduce transmission of results from polling center to our centralized system, so that it would be easier and faster to process and know the result, that was kicked against by the APC. The Peace Commission called a meeting at Bintumani Conference where we had international partners, even ECOWAS was there. and discuss this issue. And one question they ask, I remember even the ECOWAS, one question they asked, Mr. Chair, if you do not introduce this new technology system, will it affect the election? We say no. We say, okay, for the sake of peace, abandon that. That was, we had prepared, we have bought, we have developed a system that we automatically, once the results are counted at the center, it is photoshopped and transmitted directly in the presence of political parties. But they said, no, no wonder one day. Then say, if we send out now, we send the result at the cloud, and then from the cloud, somebody did away the manipulator before the result came up. So they say, no, no one time. We say, okay, fine, let's go by the manual way of doing things. So during the period of the election, we all look at we know what are the provisions for the result management. The other issues which has been propagated against the commission is that we did not follow the procedure for result management. The ECS would like to inform the public that the 2023 results announced conforms with the standard of announcement of election results over the past electoral cycle, 2007, 2012, 2018, as directed under Section 92 of the Commission, of the PEA. In other words, from 2007 to 2018, results are counted at the stations, at station level. Party agents, observers present. Results are entered into the result reconciliation form, and copy of the result reconciliation form issued to political parties and then posted on the wall of the centers or the stations. These results are placed in the tampered evidence envelope, sealed in the presence of the political parties, and put there in the box, sealed in their presence, and then the coordinators of those reward areas will collect these results, take the results to the district offices, to the district election managers or district election officers. The district election officer will collect all these results, take them to the regional tally centers. I think in 2007, there was only one center, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
National Tally Center. The subsequent election, the commission introduced regional centers, where the results are taken to the centers, are tallied in the presence of political parties, observers. We have photos for 2023 tally venues of observers sitting and watching the process. Some of the claims they have made, they had no access to where this data, the results were entered. We recall constituency 110. We recall what happened in Kabbalah in the by-elections, where ballot boxes were taken. So therefore, the only way, we tried it in 2018 at the National Tally Center, where we created transparent glass barrier where people will sit and see what is happening. It's not opaque. It's not opaque at all. It's transparent. So what introduction again, a new addition we made. 2018 election, we all saw the frustration of the time it took to announce the result. So as a commission, we decided to increase on the number of manpower that we do the intake of the results and then process. But it's like you are sitting there, then I'm walking from here. The results reconciliation envelopes were taken from where the observers are, registered and taken to, in the presence of this observer, open and given out to all the entry clerks. And we had double entry situation. if I enter the figures here and I give it into you, the figure I enter should correspond to what he is going to enter. If there are any changes, it will not accept for it to go through. So these processes were explained before the election to political parties. We demonstrated at the warehouse how we are going to do the election. Nobody objected. We never said we are going to project results. We never said that we are going to project results. Until the day for the election, when they were tallying, that's why when the opposition, especially in the north, they started demanding that we have to project the results for them to see. So that has never been part of our policy or regulations we developed for this election. So we went ahead to do the tally. And they were there. Throughout the process, they were there. We have the register where they signed. They were present throughout at all the centers that we created for the tallying of the results. So in other words, what we are saying, we follow the standard that as an organization, as a country, we had established from 2007, 2012, 2018, and 2023. The procedure of tallying did not change. The introduction of new system we wanted, they kicked against it. So we had no options but to revert to the procedure, the standard we had established. I also want to talk about this new cliche about disaggregated data. It started from the registration. You see, it is always good for people to be honest. And honesty is guided by the facts and your knowledge about the circumstances. These two political parties have existed before many of us were born. They are in politics and they do anything to win. But what is unfair is when you use the institution to appease your supporters. It's like after every football match, the supporters are angry with the coach or the team manager. And then the team manager will come and say, no, not the referee. So that's what the political parties are doing to ECSL. The only way they can get your supporters to believe that they won the election, but somebody took it away from them, is to look at the referee. Misinform and turn the fact, what America they call alternative facts. When we were doing the voter registration, it has never been a situation where voter register, disaggregated voter register, issued to political parties 2 months or immediately after the field capture of data of voter register. It has never. But the moment we concluded the field capture, when we were even developing the provisional list, we had the request coming from the opposition, and then subsequently NEW also came asking us they want to audit the process. So we asked, what do you want to audit and why do you want to audit? To give credibility to the process. What credibility is lacking in the process? So we deny outrightly on the basis that it has never happened. And secondly, these are provisional data which need to be processed to ensure that we correct whatever mistakes, to ensure that we include whoever wants to change the allocations. So we said we are not going to give any disaggregated voter register, but we'll give you the voter register once we conclude all the activities necessary to have a credible voter register. So that's where the problem started between us and our friends. So when we concluded, about 3 or so weeks to the election, we finally gave out in hard copy, in soft copy, to all political parties. But there comes again the honesty of politicians. Before we went to the Bitumani peace discussion, APC was saying we have not given them this data and they were going to pull out of the election. But when we came, we had given them before the conference, but when the conference, we had the discussion, they came back and said, oh yes, actually now ECSL give all the data we will be asked for, so they go participate in the pool. Is that honesty? We have given you this document a week or so before this meeting, and then for you suddenly to come and say, no, now then give we. So the intention about all of these issues which we are dealing with post-2023 election, the foundations were laid before even we get to the pool. Before even we got to the pool, we have already been blacklisted because people at the end of the day, we have a reason to say we won this election, but because of credibility, lack of integrity of the Electoral Commission, they denied us our victory. So that's why I'm saying political parties should completely forget about blackmailing the electoral management body. They should take the rest profession or as their business with genuine intention. Get the resources. Don't go and raise funds for international observers to come and observe and give you credence. Raise funds for your party to have observers at the polling station level, at the talent center, so that they will monitor and account to you. If you say the ECSL result we declare is not in line with what you have, but you've never provided what you have. It's like the Quran. When people say the Quran, Quran is not correct, God asks them, just provide one sentence of the Quran and tell me whether the Quran is something that was created by man. We have provided results, summary, district aggregated data. If you think that is not in line with what you have not even produced even the Falaba results to show that your result is against what we have published. And the issue of disaggregated data, it is not something that you can just pressure, you can just say Mohamed Konneh producer. No, it's not part of our law, it's not a precedent. So therefore, it is not something you just say produce this then all case done. No, we know if by anybody. You have the opportunity. We provided the environment. We provided the space for your agents to be present at every polling station. And they were all giving results reconciliation forms. Ask your agents to produce them. The opposition in Liberia won the election. They had the resources. They collected resources in order to monitor their elections. They even used private helicopter to go to different hard-to-reach areas to collect their result reconciliation form. But in this election, or in all elections, you go to the north, you will hardly see certain area, you hardly see SLPP party agents. You go to the south, certain areas, you hardly see APC party agents. And when you ask, they say, no, they will go beat with funding. They don't allow, then they expect ECSL, who they are, would they receive the result the way they're not processed, then come with them, you say, no, not to this result, you suppose forget. No. So we train our staff, we provided the logistics, we give them the code of conduct for them to conduct elections. It is our responsibility to provide a space. It is not our responsibility for make political parties, for develop results for the political party, for counter what will they produce. We don't produce what will they produce. And the law being clear. It was part of my statement. If the results not satisfy, you're not satisfied, not only a political party, every citizen, you can go to court, Supreme Court, to give us, to demand us to provide whatever information we want. So going forward, as the commissioner has said, we are open. We are not saying we conducted the best election or we conducted problem-free elections in 2023. But we did our best to ensure that we comply with the law and we meet the international standards, and the results we declare represent the will of the people as demonstrated as they cast their vote for their choice of candidates. Other than that, if you have anything contrary, we need to move forward. They have said a lot. I want to appeal now to the political parties. Go and organize your parties. Go and raise funds for your party to be effective in monitoring election, in participating in elections. Forget about ECSL. Whatever we do, we have always brought information. We have always shared our regulations to political parties. And if we go against the activity, the policy, the regulations, it is your responsibility to hold us accountable. But don't hold us accountable on your perception without proving any fact. Thank you so much. Yeah. Maybe one last point to talk about. One of the claims in the tripartite, they are saying there was overvoting. We release the votes, we release the valid votes, we release the void votes, and the total. The law is clear what is overvoting. Let people that know misinform you. Overvoting is a situation where the number of registered voters for a center or a station, the number we then cast exceed the number of registered voters. In other words, if this station we have on the voter register, which we share with the political parties, we have on the register 300 registered voters. Then at the end of the pool, you have 305 or you have 400. That clearly is an overvoting, and the law says we should immediately cancel that vote. So for this election, we will not receive any evidence, we will not receive any reconciliation form where it contradicts, where they above the registered voter in each or any of the results. So we want for despair that, where people then say they are certain station 300 and something, and not possible. If that be possible, then for don't they pull their centers and they, if for don't they not the record.
The system they reject us.
In fact, about the reconciliation center, we have programmed all the center in the system.
Yeah.
So once you enter figure above the voter registered figure for that center, it will not even go on. It will not proceed to anywhere, not even at the first entry. So the question of people saying overvoting, you not get any water for hold. Now that made them be pass a law after 2007, where law not be there, where they say any overvoting, where occur, you know, where you vote more than waiting register, therefore nullify that result there. Now that made for violent in 2018. We say now any violent occur na any station, we cancel that result. So as I say, regulations will always be amended. So if going forward, we therefore introduce the VAR, let's bring it on our laws. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman. The VAR will very soon come to conclusion. Okay, we've listened to the Chairman and National Returning Officer. I'm sure we'll have some questions. So we'll take questions we'll take 5 at a time, and then we'll allow the commission to respond, and then we'll come back and take another set of 5. Okay, so Andrew will move out, Mr. Kanu will move out to the right, and I think the first person to comment is Mohamed. Please ask only one question.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Joseph Toure from SLBC. One of your statements, you say ECSL will ready for implement the recommendations for the tripartite committee. And in case a recommendation in the committee, the report, then in ordinary law, which is ECSL will do.
Yes. My name is Mahmoud Silla from the Nature newspaper. According to the law, every party agent get for a police station the start of the voting. So in case ECSL dinner the police station at 7 o'clock when the voting for starts, then there's no party representative nodding. So what the ECSL can do in that sense.
Thank you.
Isaac Unisa Kamara, the Compass newspaper. According to the commissioner here, he told us that the president has been a victim of the system, at the same time a beneficiary of the system. So I would like to know if there are ills or disadvantages which the president has been a victim of those systems, of those disadvantages, and now he's not a beneficiary of those ills. And where are these ills? Why?
Voice of Salon Radio. My question is on according to the electoral commissioner, we been try for say how that the party and the cry foul, more especially the opposition, when they be right to now, waiting at the things they wanna make clear to them, because now then thing they need to be still they insist on one know as media people them.
Yeah, my name is Bobodan Kamara. I write for New Citizen newspaper. The issue around my name is Bobodan Kamara. I write for New Citizen newspaper. The issue I want to highlight on here is the issue of lack of public trust from the ECSL. That is not going to do with APC or SLPP, because the present government back then in 2018 accused the commission, say they went ahead for announced election where counting still take place, and even this 2023 we don't see similar thing like that. Done accredited international accredited international elections observers back say the record series of mathematical impossibilities in the tabulation of this 2023 election. So my question to you, Mr. Commissioner, what do you think say we need for do for try for restore public trust as recorded in the TRC report? Because most of the institutions, they are ECSL and the others now, 6 out of 10 Sierra Leoneans we ask we don't get pronounced at one or the other. So that's my question.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we've got up to 5. And I'm sure we'll now allow the commissioner to respond, the chief electoral commissioner to respond.
Okay. All right. My colleague will come in, and then the technical staff, operation, IT, they are here, will come in to respond to some of this, to add beef to whatever I'm going to say. If recommendation is not in line with the law, surely all the recommendations that we implemented for the 2023 elections, many of them were not part of the law. So what we did, we had extensive stakeholders engagement, developed policy towards legalizing these recommendations, and we included them in the public elections, be that we took to parliament and it was passed into law. So it's the same procedure we follow. If the recommendations are not part of the law, we ensure that we work with the necessary stakeholders, the government, civil society, to develop policies and then forward to the parliament and for their consideration. And I'm sure they will do the necessary thing. Of course, party agents, it's not a responsibility for ECSL, for party agents to be present at the polling station. Our responsibility is to issue accreditation to political parties and their agents, transportation, or to represent, to be there. It is the responsibility of the political party. So that's why even the regulations we develop, where party agents fail to sign the result reconciliation form, that will not negate the results. In some instances, they will say we are not going to sign, but we will process the result as long as it meets our processes and procedure. The questions APC requested from the tripartite, basically they were asking for disaggregated data. And we clear on the disaggregated data that we are not going to provide any disaggregated data because it has never been done, it's not within the law, and it will not add any value to what they were doing. What the law says, what the terms of reference said, the results as announced by ECSL, and the law says district summary, regionally certified district election manager certify results, the regional commissioner or regional returning officer certify results, and the national returning officer certify results. I will provide all these results to them from 2007, 2018, 2012, and 2023. So we did not provide any disaggregated data for 2007. We did not provide any disaggregated data for 2012 or 2018. So therefore 2023, we're not going to provide disaggregated data. So public trust. Public trust, as I open my statement, is a matter of perception. And your perception, public perception is southeast. You ask about perception or the level of trust on the ECSL, you will see higher rating. If you come to the Northwest, you ask for the perception of ECSL, you will get lower rating from what you get from the Southeast. Before the election, there was a perception survey conducted by IGR, which rated ECSL about 60-something% in terms of trust. So before election, even in parliament, with all the noise, when we went with the public elections or the approval of one of the commissioners, all the political parties in parliament then, they commended us the way we had prepared ourselves for the election. So public perception is about interest. When we were doing voter registration, there were a lot of cries in the western area, and I decided to go in district to district. And in all the stations I visited or centers, the question I asked the party representative, even on the election day, this has always been my trend whenever I go to a station. Who are the party agents? Yes, APC, SFP. How do you see the process? We are fine with it, no problem. It was the same thing for voter registration. But when we come here, we hear the leaders saying something different. So it is about your interest. The interest and persistent, continuous repetition of that interest will create the picture of being the fact, the truth. So that's the problem we have. And it is unfortunate, the generation we are now, with the social media, you can sit somewhere and just narrate a story. Just in a room, just narrate a story. Then it becomes perception. It becomes the fact based on the audience. Very recently, somebody posted on social media, Mohamed Konneh, we Konneh send him family in America with different name with diplomatic passports. Why they are with me family? So these are some of the things that we are, as election management body, it's not only us that have to really guard our electoral or democracy, but us as a citizen, we need to come out where we have the facts, where we doubt the story, to get the story from the people affected. Otherwise, if we just say we listen to Adebayo audio, it's a problem. A few days ago, the perception we are talking about, people said they were coming, right? And because of that, the whole city, nobody came out. Very few people came